Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
Today, we're kicking off our review series of the brand new Hallmark Plus exclusive series, Paris is Always a Good Idea. The first 2 episodes are now streaming on Hallmark Plus, with the new episodes dropping weekly. We invite you to keep up with us over on Instagram, where we are Girls Gone Hallmark. We're also on Facebook under the same name, if that's your preferred platform.
It has been lately for some people.
Indeed.
Hey, we would love to do a special mailbag episode for Paris is Always a Good Idea. So if you have thoughts on this series, weekly or whatever, email us hello@girlsgonehallmark.com. We had a great book club.
I was just thinking it would be so fun to hear people, because episode 1 diverts from the book.
Yes.
And so I'd be really curious to hear people's thoughts on that.
Yes. So please email us. Maybe, I remember somebody in the book club asking like, hey, can we circle back and discuss the show when it comes out? So I don't know how to do that exactly.
It can be group driven. We don't need to be guiding those discussions. They can just use that as a place to discuss the show.
Love it. Love it.
Why don't we kick off our discussion of episode 1 of Paris is Always a Good Idea with a synopsis.
Nonprofit executive Chelsea is in Paris to secure a major donor, but begins an unexpected journey across Europe to reconnect with her past loves.
We're going to run down some of the major players in this. We'll dig into them a little bit later in this series. But first up, we have Lacey Chabert as Chelsea.
Scott Michael Foster plays Jason.
Rebecca Hansen plays Sister Annabelle.
Henry Czerny plays Dad Glenn.
Barbara Niven appears as Sherry.
Anna Wilson-Jones appears as Chelsea's mom, Christine.
The teleplay is by Lauren Muir and Heidi Cole McAdams, and it is based on the book by Jenn McKinlay.
And this episode was directed by Emmer Conroy.
Hey, Wendy, what is your first impression of episode 1, Paris Revisited?
I don't know what shocked me more. How good this pilot was, or hearing the word lovers on Hallmark every 5 minutes.
Well, my first impression is kind of in the same vein. It's, whoa, was that Jason Knightley or Christian Grey in the nightclub?
Dude, thank you so much for saying that. I was like, whoa, Hallmark Plus After Dark. It was giving, 50 Shades, was it not?
Yes.
I thought I was alone in this moment, and I'm so glad you said it.
Yeah.
And that's not, full disclosure, we're recording this review before the show has actually aired.
Wait to see the reaction
on Hallmark Plus. And so it's not even like internet chatter that, there's a similarity here. Yes, ma'am. What? Hello?
Oh, no, it's yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it was dirty. I was like, what is happening?
Book talk, here we come.
Totally. Okay, can I just say, I really thought this was very good.
I would watch this 100% without, I would continue watching this if we were not reviewing it. I would turn it on and look forward to watching it every week.
Me too.
This is so in the vein of what I've been watching lately. I loved Elle. I know you hated it, but it was light and frothy. 5-Star Weekend. Just these female-driven, fun series.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah. I really liked it. I hope it lands well with Hallmark audiences. I don't know if it's going to.
I hope so too. And because the thing that for me that I like is it's really walking that line.
Yes.
There's nothing inappropriate about it when you watch it. There's no nudity, there's no sex, right? There's no bad language, but there are going to be some people who feel like it's walking a line. And for me, I love that line. I'm push the envelope a little bit. It makes it not so Hallmarkified.
Yes.
But it could go either way. And I wonder if they're it's on the streamer, so we can push the envelope a little bit.
Well, hey, I'm here for it.
If you're familiar with our reviews of The Way Home, if you're not, you should go listen to them. But if you're familiar with those, these episodes are going to follow a similar format where we run through kind of the major plot point beats and riff on those. Mm-hmm. One thing that's not in my notes, because I'm not really sure where we want to put it, is our opening and closing bookends of the bridal suite.
Okay. Yes. Let's just do it here.
Okay. So we open with our main character, Chelsea. In my notes, I was like, what appears to be a bridal suite. At the end of the episode, it very clearly is. There's a wedding dress hanging. And she's recording a voice note for someone.
Right.
About how their love story came to be.
Her and whoever she's with.
Correct. Yes. And then we flash back to the beginning of her story. 2 things. Yes.
We get this opening bridal suite scene. And then we get like the opening, like what is it called? You know, like the credits and stuff.
Oh, yes.
Super cute.
Loved.
And then they play that really cute "Don't Get Me Wrong," but it's like a different like version of it.
Yeah.
Like if it's giving a lot of personality, which I didn't expect up top. You know, we've talked about you hook us when you have a good opening.
Indeed.
Right? So it felt very contemporary. I loved that. But then back to this bridal scene thing, I was a little discombobulated. Because I was like, I was expecting what happened in the book. You know, we get a bridal store in the book. Yeah, right. Yeah, we get like you know, and none of that is happening. So I'm like, what? You know, I think this is a nice framing device. We immediately know that Chelsea's going to end up at a wedding, and she's telling the story of how they get there. We just don't know who. Right. And I'm assuming when we get the end scene, it's her wedding because we see the wedding dress in the background. But maybe we could be wrong. Maybe I don't know.
You're right. We don't know. There is discussion of another proposal in this episode, so we don't know for sure. I want to talk really quickly about the book versus the show and not going into comparison detail. But I have only watched the first episode. To me, it feels like the setup is very similar. They're telling the same story, but they're framing it differently. They're setting it up differently, and I am not bothered by it. I loved this episode. I thought they did a really nice job with all of this setup. Annabelle plays a much bigger role in the series, which makes sense because you can't have internal dialogue on the page in the show. She needs that person to bounce things off of. So I like this setup a lot because it tells us what we need to know. In a way, a book, the character can do a lot of thinking and we can remember these things.
Yeah.
I like this setup. And I know there's going to be book traditionalists who are not going to love that setup, and I would love to hear from you how you feel about that, but I'm not bothered by it at all.
Me neither. I loved it.
I actually do think it's better because the book starts off really contentious. It starts off in a really negative place, and they have to work backwards from that. And there is some of that in this, but it doesn't set the tone for the entire thing. I can't even imagine if we had started off in the same place the book did.
I know. Agree.
So why don't we get into the meat of the episode?
Okay.
We kick it off with Chelsea at work, walking into her bright, beautiful office. I mean, I don't know if you've ever worked for a nonprofit, but this is a nice office space, I gotta say. I have worked for a nonprofit or two, and our office spaces did not look like this.
That's hilarious. Yeah, it was nice. I really enjoyed her. She kind of had a uniform a little bit. I don't know if you noticed it later on too.
Like she's pencil skirt.
Pencil skirt. I mean, that's a Lacey go-to. But really cute tank top. But she was kind of wearing the same sort of tank top later on in the episode too. And I was like, okay, girlfriend, you look good in the tank top. Wear the tank top. You know, Jennifer Aniston has a uniform too. I'm into it.
What's Jennifer Aniston's uniform? White t-shirt and jeans?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Or black t-shirt and jeans. Yeah, I mean, hey, wear what works,
exactly.
Right? I got to tell you, this is where the show instantly wins me over because we have now introduced Scott Michael Foster and Lacey, right? We talk a lot about like, oh, people having chemistry. These two
Pow!
The gates. Chemistry.
They can banter. Like, their banter is so good.
The pace of it too. You and I have talked a lot about, like, we are from the school of Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
And we want that rapid paced dialogue, and this delivered.
Oh, they're so good. Like, she comes in, he's walking on the walking pad, and they're instantly into it. I loved it.
And I hate the trope of enemies to lovers, right? I cannot stand it. But here, I'm buying into these enemies.
Well, see, I hate enemies to lovers too, because I think it's so hard to execute well. And I think somehow, in spite of the fact that they are not being nice to each other, there is something about their chemistry that's drawing me to the two of them.
It's because there's this, like, low-key sexual tension between them.
Right?
Yes.
And so it is done in a way where you're like, oh, well, I'm rooting for these two already. And it's not a secret. Like, they're the two leads. They're supposed to end up together.
Let me make a comparison here.
Okay.
Real quick. When we watched Mystery 101, those two were not enemies, right? They didn't come out for didn't start as enemy to lovers, but there was this low level sexual chemistry between them that drew us in.
Yes.
So I kind of feel like it's the same, similar in some sort of way.
And you can't write for that. I mean, you can only write for that so far, right? Yes, the writing has to be there. The storytelling has to be there. But you've got to give the credit to Lacey and Scott Michael Foster in this moment. And I think Scott Michael Foster is excellent. I think they're both excellent casting. Like, Lacey plays like the buttoned up type A so well. But Scott Michael Foster, it is A+ casting. Like, and as someone who loved the series Greek, the progression from him as Cappy on Greek to this is a thing of beauty. I'm all in.
Yeah, me too. I'm all into. But it's funny you say, like, oh, Lacey's this type A buttoned up, and she is, but she's different from. We've seen her type A buttoned up in other Hallmark things. So here she's a little bit more like lived some life and has dealt with some shit. Sorry. That feels like the character is so different than who she's played in the past on Hallmark to me.
Yeah, she plays a romantic a lot of times on Hallmark.
Yeah. Sweet. And like, I just loved it. I loved it so much. I love that they, like, really challenge each other. They interrupt each other. He's ambitious and smug, but also, like, emotionally intelligent underneath it all.
I agree. And in the early voiceover from the bridal suite, the big takeaway is, yes, she's telling the story of her love story, but she's also telling of how it came from a brokenhearted place. Like, she's talked about how she left Europe brokenhearted and she left broken. And that has put her in the place she is today, where she's very closed off to the idea of love. So she is not bantering from, like, a flirty perspective.
Yes.
At all. Knightley, I would argue, is a little bit.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think she's kind of more tightly wound and emotionally,
closed off.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's trying to use his charms to get what he wants.
And she's not having it.
She's not having it.
I love it. Also, a question for you. Is this a Dunkin' sponsorship in this moment?
Of course. I mean, it's like bright orange, enormous black coffee.
Black and boring. I laughed out loud.
Loved it.
But I was like, oh, hey, Dunkin'. It's giving King's Hawaiian a little bit, but
it's going to be hard to turn me off of this show, I think.
Me too. But I was like, okay, we're in Boston. I got it. Dunkin', got it. Check.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's perfect product placement.
Totally.
Basically, like, the net of this office scene is Chelsea does her presentation. Sophie Arnaud is this, like, executive who's also kind of like can't be bothered. It was very weird. She's like got her dog. She's distracted, but everyone's like afraid of her. And she pulls all the strings and she's like, all right, you got to come to Paris to pitch me here. Chelsea spins out a little bit. She's like, I can't go back to Paris. I loved how her boss was like, all right, I'll just send Knightley. And she's like, nope, I can do it.
I loved her boss.
I love Aiden.
Great casting again. Just and the way that the dialogue is written and the interactions between the two. They have a phone call later on too that I loved very much.
Too. Are you going to make me use my boss voice?
Yeah, I loved it. Loved it. All right, so let's move into the family dinner scene where she has to tell her dad and sister that she has to go to Paris. What I liked about here is that what I didn't understand at first is like, I was like, oh, Chelsea's not afraid of Paris. Like, she's afraid of saying goodbye to her mother and revisiting all of that emotional baggage again. I thought, okay, here's the meat of the show, like the emotional aspect of the show. It's not just going to be, you know, Chelsea like revisiting these lovers or having this new connection with Jason Knightley or whatever. It's about like dealing with the loss of her mom.
Yes.
And I really liked it.
Yeah, that framing is so much more obvious in the series than in the book.
Yes.
I like it too. I think it deepens our connection to the characters and it tells a more emotionally rich story.
Right.
Let me talk about Sherry in this scene.
Yes, for sure.
I think they do a really nice job of setting up Sherry as this perfectly lovely woman who, as the audience, it makes us hard to dislike her, even when we see what happens a little later when there's some pushback from Chelsea, because immediately Sherry's lovely to Chelsea. She's like, we ordered your favorite. And then as soon as she can sense tension at the dinner table, she's like, oh, this is not a moment for me. And she bows out gracefully.
Yeah.
And I think, okay, now we've set her up as this woman who is a good partner for your dad and understands like, hey, he needs this moment with his daughters and I'm going to bounce. And it's not heavy handed. And so to me, I'm like, I'm Team Sherry.
I'm Team Sherry too, and I know Chelsea will get there.
Sure, of
because
course.
Even in this moment, like she says something like snide to her sister, like didn't they just meet 2 weeks ago at the auction or whatever? Yeah, but I'm rooting for Sherry here.
Of course.
And Barbara Nevin, can you stop being so impossibly gorgeous? Like, stop it right now.
I know.
Question for you. Sister Annabelle seems incredibly young to me. I don't know if it's like casting or wardrobe that they put her in. That I know she's younger, but she seems very young. Now, I Googled the age of the actress that plays her. Her name is Rebecca Hansen. She's 32 in real life, according to the internet.
How old is Lacey? 40?
40-ish. Yeah, something like that. So, I mean, it works, but she just looks... She looks like a teenager, this girl.
I agree. She looks younger than Lacey. I think it is both that she is younger than Lacey. And like you said, like she's very sporty. And so she's not wearing a ton of makeup. Her outfits are very casual. Sporty. So I think it's a combination of all of those factors.
Now, with that said, I love Annabelle.
Me too.
I love Annabelle, and I love their scenes, Chelsea and Annabelle scenes together.
I'm so glad this character was elevated in the series because having not seen the rest, I'm like, oh, she's going to be Chelsea's partner throughout all of this. And, you know, I hope she's in every episode because they're so good together. They have such nice sisterly vibes. And in spite of Annabelle being the younger sister, she's the more emotionally mature one because Chelsea has been so closed off. And they do make like a therapy reference. Like Annabelle's in school to become a therapist. But at one point when she's talking to her dad, she's like, that's my own therapy. They didn't just make me rehab my knee. So like she's dealt with her stuff in a way that Chelsea hasn't.
Yeah. So good. Are you ready to talk about the Paris Revisited envelope?
Let's do it.
When they get to the hotel and Annabelle's unpacking her stuff and Chelsea sees the envelope. Now, we had gotten a little bit of flashback scene at the dinner. So that was giving a little bit of context of they were supposed to be in Paris at some point to say goodbye to their mother who passed. I didn't know if it was like leaving her ashes somewhere,
right,
or what it was exactly. Then we get to Chelsea sees the envelope on the bed and she's pissed. Mm-hmm. She feels a little bamboozled in this moment. And she asks Annabelle, like, are you just trying to spring this on me? You're on my work trip. You know, we didn't talk about it, but Annabelle gets this great idea. Like, oh, hey, let us go to Paris with you. We're there as your support team.
Yeah.
Right? So Dad and Annabelle go on this trip with her, which is maybe a little bit unbelievable, but also I kind of love it.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm curious, Megan, would you feel bamboozled if you saw that your sister had brought this?
Well, I was watching it and I was like, Chelsea immediately jumps to conclusions. And in the moment I was like, wait, just let her talk, like hear her out, ask, like find out why it's there. But I can kind of understand her point of view. Like, what are you doing? Like, I couldn't do it then. What do you mean you think I can do it now? But then I think the reveal is so much worse because Annabelle and Glenn told Chelsea, like, no, don't worry. We did it after you left.
Yeah.
And now Chelsea's finding out, like, no, we didn't do it without you. And I feel like that's an extra layer of guilt. She's like, oh, man, not only was I not able to do it, but I stopped my family from.
Yes. Right. And then in this scene, she just happens to look out the window of the hotel. And who does she see? It's just like a double whammy of, BS that she has to deal with.
Yeah. And she feels like Knightley arriving there is a sign that her boss doesn't trust her to close the deal.
Right. He is there to close the deal.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, when he's like, I'm your closer, I was like, that's kind of hot.
Oh my God.
There's something about it. But like you said, I do love the conversation she has with her boss. And I love it for two reasons. One, Chelsea advocates for herself. She's not a shrinking violet. She's like, I got us here. Like, I always get us here. I did the work. But then her boss is like, do I need to pull the boss card? Like, I'm going to put on my deep voice and be like, you're going to do it. And I like his perspective. He's like, look, it's just extra help. It's not going to hurt to have an extra person on hand. I trust you, but it's too big for me to not put everybody on the team that could possibly benefit.
Right.
I don't know. I liked it.
I liked it too. So then we see like Chelsea and Jason, she's basically like showing, this was really funny. I didn't realize that was her at the beginning, that she was listening to herself, like, oh, grab the bull by the balls, kind of. She's listening like to her own
presentation.
Exactly. The grab the bull by the balls is a reference to a movie called Never Been Kissed, where she is listening to her own self-help of her own voice. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Do you remember?
I do.
Anyway, so she's got Jason listening to like her presentation, right? And he's like, you do this every time. I just thought it was so funny. And here they have this great banter again. And she tells, man, the way I got choked up in this scene, when she tells, because he's giving her a hard time, like, what's your family doing here? Like, this doesn't make any sense, right? Mm-hmm. And she explains, my mom died. And she's like, don't give me your pity party. It was 10 years ago. Again, totally showing how she's like closed off, right? Mm-hmm. But when she says, like, they were supposed to do this 10 years ago, go to the city she loves and leave her there.
Yeah.
I crumbled just into a ball of weeping mess. Who am I, former Hallmark hater? I just thought this was so good. So good. Then he says, they need closure, and you're not allowing them to do that.
I know, tough love from Jason Knightley.
Totally. And then when she pauses and like taps her, I'm like, I watched this scene so closely. She taps herself on her like chest.
Yes.
And she's like, I actually do hate you, and walks away. I just was like, this is so freaking good.
I loved it. I loved that he was like, hello, they got on a plane, no notice. Like, who is able to do that? And you're just out here. Oh, like, get it together, Chelsea. I loved it. Or get it together, Martin, as he would say. I love it.
Yeah.
When a dude calls someone by their last name.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. It does something for me.
Oh, funny. That is really funny. So, of course, we see from here, Chelsea hears his advice, basically, and then they set out to open the Paris Revisited envelope with her family, and like they go and do the things, right? Uh-huh. This is hard to watch for a couple things for me. we're listening to like recorded voice memos, basically, right? Yeah. I know we're not doing wishes, but here's my wish. I wish here they would have listening to these long audio recordings isn't cinematic. And I do wish we would have had a little bit of a flashback of the mom recording them or something to just make it visually richer. We're sitting on like this, subway or tube or whatever train, listening to, everybody's like surrounded, listening to this tape. I'm as a viewer having a hard time following it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't find it hard to follow, but I do agree with your point that it would be nice if we had the mom or like even just a visual of her recording this.
Yeah. I felt terrible for Annabelle. And then I felt terrible for Chelsea in these scenes here. Annabelle, the mom wants Annabelle to go to this bakery and have this whatever.
It's a cheese shop, but yeah.
Oh, okay. And it's closed permanently. And if they would have done it 10 years before when they were supposed to, she would have had this experience. And then the message goes on about her being this great soccer superstar. And now we've known that like she's had a career-ending injury and all this stuff could have been said 10 years ago. And Annabelle is wrecked about it and kind of pissed about it. Chelsea, to me, feels guilt about it.
Yes.
Oh, it's a hard watch, but it's done so well.
So Annabelle doesn't listen to her whole... She's like, I can't listen to this anymore. And I'm curious, do you think there's a point at which the rest of that voice message comes into play?
Oh, maybe.
Because the thing that upsets her is she's like, I'm not even this person anymore. Like, this person that she was so excited about and so proud of doesn't even exist. And Chelsea makes the point, like, it wasn't, she was just proud of who you were, and who you were in this moment played soccer. But just because that's not part of your life doesn't mean she's like, oh, I take it all back.
Right.
But of course, for Annabelle, hearing her mom say those things after the fact isn't helpful. So I wonder if there's an end to that message that will help Annabelle reconcile what she's feeling.
I hope so. Now, is that because you know what happens?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I do not.
Okay.
This goes along with Chelsea's voice memo, which is listened to at the Eiffel Tower about Chelsea being a romantic and she always follows her heart. And Annabelle's like, get out of here.
Who's that?
Like, I don't even know who that person is. And so they're all, I think in some ways, not living up to the promise and dreams that their mother had for them. And that's a tough pill to swallow.
Totally.
And then, of course, we get the dad's memo read in the park. Do they even play it? They do, right?
They do. Yeah. She's like, I had a full life because of you, because of my daughters. She basically tells them, like, I
keep living.
Keep living. Yeah.
And this is when he tells them, like, he's like, I found love again. And they're like, what do you mean, love? It's only been 3 months. And he's like, I'm going to propose. And Annabelle knew, and Chelsea feels betrayed. And Chelsea walks off because she's like, first of all, feeling left out because she's like, it's the Dad and Annabelle show all over again. Because obviously Chelsea was more like her mom. Annabelle's more like her dad. She's like the sports girl. But I like that Annabelle and Chelsea squashed their beef about this very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, Annabelle finds Chelsea on the roof in a robe, drinking wine straight out of the bottle.
This is one of the greatest scenes ever. And so not Hallmark.
No.
Drinking out of that wine bottle like that. I loved it.
She's like, I couldn't find a glass. And then I love that they snap right into sister mode because Annabelle's like, I would have told you, but he told me I couldn't. And then she wants a pink heart-shaped diamond. And Chelsea's like, it's nothing like Mom. I don't understand. And I think, if you're in this situation, do you really want your parent to remarry someone just like the parent that has passed away? Like, you don't want a replacement. You would want... Chelsea's having a hard time. I get having a hard time with it. But I just think it's like, oh, it's nothing like Mom. I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's an interesting sentiment.
It is. But this is what I loved is like they apologize to each other. Then they just get right into sister mode. Like they're teasing, they're honest, like it's all very lived in. Annabelle says this line, she's talking about grief or pain, and she's like, you have to feel it if you want to heal. Like, so that's their like catalyst for Chelsea to move forward, I think. I just love this scene so much. And you probably know this, but Lacey Chabert lost her sister. Her sister died a couple of years ago. And I wondered how this was for her to film this scene here, or these sister scenes, because the sister scenes are really good.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, like, how much is she bringing like of real life into this, like how she'd be with. She's just really good, really good. They're both really good in this. All right, now let's talk about the Jason Knightley slow burn of it all. Oh my God. It piggybacks off the scene before when they're on the rooftop. Annabelle's like, you owe me, basically. So Chelsea takes her out to dinner. They go out to dinner and they're having like this like great conversation over dinner or whatever. And then they decide to go dancing. This is the scene where I think maybe you might be, it's very sexy without being.
It's sensual.
Yeah, exactly. So like we have like Annabelle and Lacey are dancing, and we don't really see Annabelle, but like Lacey's like Chelsea's lost in memory of the dude that she once knew in Paris, right? And, she like lets her hair down and she's like really into it. And then like she sees Jason watching her, which is almost like I would have died a little bit inside.
Of course.
If you're having like this moment, right? But Chelsea's like thinking about like the guy that she knew from Paris. Like those scenes feel very sensual too.
Agree.
And it's lighting. It's not even anything. It's like a close up of her face. Like their two bodies are close. Yeah.
They have like they're glowy, like not sweaty, but like the suggestion of sweat.
Yeah. I mean, we talk about it, you mentioned it before in Providence Falls, where like the zipper scene or the chair pulling scene, these are so nuanced, but they really do something in the scene. And I thought the way this was shot was like that as well.
I agree.
Then we see Jason comes over and he's like, I didn't even like notice it was you, ever have your hair down, blah, 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 whatever. And it gets a little like testy between these two.
A little?
Well, a lot.
She's like, first of all, she snaps right into me and mommy mode. And she's like,
mommy mode?
Yeah, she's like, you're infuriating and irresponsible. And then she puts her hand on his chest and says, you don't get to be lazy. And this is when like the whole scene just like, zoom, and he says his, yes, ma'am. And oh my God, it's hot.
Yeah, I rewound it because I'm like, did I just see what I saw? Like, am I taking it the way that it's supposed to be, or am I reading too much?
I watched the episode twice, and I think you're taking it the way it's intended.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. And then the sister comes over and she's like, we hate him, right?
This kind of hurt me a little bit because she's like, we hate him. And Chelsea agrees. And he's like, the feeling's mutual. And I was like, oh man, like.
Except Chelsea's giving him sex eyes as he walks away.
I know. And Annabelle's like, do we really hate him? But I kind of was like, I understand that he's infuriating to her, especially based on past action, because she sets him up as this guy who like, uses her for her research and then takes credit and all of this. But he hasn't really been acting in an infuriating way to the outside observer. There's no reason to assume that he's not going to get the work done. She just thinks he doesn't work as hard as she does because he doesn't work the same way she does. So I hate you of it all. It kind of hurts me.
Well,
that's all.
Hopefully they'll rebound from that.
I mean, I assume they will. It's the next morning, and Chelsea's scrolling through all her old photos and has all these memories of all the men of her trip. And then we learn that Sophie has pushed their meeting, and Chelsea's like, so typical. And she's like, well, time for a vacation. And she asks Annabelle to come. They make nice with dad. Like dad shows up with coffee and he apologizes for springing it on them. I kind of feel like the girls owe him an apology, or at least Chelsea for her reaction. But, you know, he's like, I will always love your mom, but I love Sherry too. And he does deserve to continue living his life. Chelsea doesn't even react to that though. He says like, I love Sherry too. And Chelsea doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
She just says like, we're going to do the mom thing. Like, yeah, she wanted me to go back and revisit these guys and we're going to go do that. And so the closing scene is, you know, she's voiceovering. This is still her bridal suite voice memo. She's like, I closed the door to my heart when I came home from my last Europe trip, but I came home with questions about my life and my loves. And she and Annabelle are off to Ireland.
Yeah, we get like the tiniest bit of Ireland, like just like setting it up of like who Colin is. But it's just like a little bit of a cliffhanger for the next episode.
Right.
I love that she takes Annabelle on this.
Yes.
With her. Again, like I know I've talked about between them, their scenes are so great. Yeah, I cannot wait for episode 2. How many episodes are there? 6, 8? It's only 6. Aw. But I mean, let's not drag it out. But it's so good.
It is. And we cut back to the bridal suite at the very end.
Yes.
And this is when it's very clear that it's a bridal suite. There's a wedding dress in the background. So the thing I notice is it's very pink. And we know that Sherry wanted a pink diamond.
Oh, yeah.
But she's telling the story of her love story. And she's alone in this bridal suite. So I don't know which direction we're going here.
Got it.
Got it.
Here's my biggest surprise from the series. As much as like as I'm saying, like I love the pace of the dialogue and I love the scenes with the sister and the sexiness of it with Jason. It's much heavier than I expected in terms of grief.
Yeah.
And I applaud Hallmark for like diving into that. You know, Ripple was supposed to be a Hallmark Plus show.
Right.
Which was very centered on grief. I think this is like a whiff of Ripple. You know what I mean? But we get romance plus grief. It's much more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
You know, I agree with you. And in the book, there's an additional storyline that we don't see developing yet, and I'm not sure that we will. I think they've swapped that for focusing more on the mom and the sister, and it involves Aiden. I'm very excited to continue. We're doing doubleheader episodes today, so both episode 1 and 2 are available in the feed right now, since they both dropped on the same day, so you can give those both a listen. And then we will be back with weekly reviews of Paris is Always a Good Idea. Send us your thoughts on this series to hello@girlsgonehallmark.com. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.